Willie D Live.
What's up, family? The self-described best friend of Nolan Wells says Nolan seemed to be completely fine while they were hanging out on Horn Island before he went missing. And then his body was discovered. And his friends abandoned him. Check him out.
Bunch of y'all, but some of the other guys were afraid because of the threats and the violence that's been threatened against their lives and all of the above. But you decided that you wanted to take this bold step and give a statement and get your side out here. And I want to
Must feel nice to be just threatened, have your life just threatened as opposed to taken.
start at the very beginning of all of this and ask you, what was your relationship like with Nolan? Who was he to you?
Nolan, I could describe Nolan in a million ways. I mean, Nolan was not just a best friend of me, but he was a brother. I grew up through elementary, middle school, high school, and even our freshman year of college. We talked on the phone all the time. We were really close friends. And Nolan was like a brother to me. And Nolan lit up every room he walked in. He always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. I've never seen Nolan get in an argument with somebody and say bad things about someone. There's a lot of people that talk crap nowadays, and Nolan was never that person. Sweetest soul ever. And I had a great relationship with Nolan. I've never got in an argument with Nolan. We were super close, and I've never said or will ever have anything bad to say about Nolan Wells.
Yeah, and you guys, you said you kind of grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know his mom, or how was that? Because I saw in the media where it appears that she may have said, at least I saw in part, that she said as if she didn't know any of you guys.
Right. Well, Nolan a lot of the times was at like my house and at my buddy's house. We never went to Nolan's house and hung out. And my friend group's very, very tight knit. We hang out every day when we're back home from school. In high school, we hung out most weekdays and every day on the weekend. And we were never at Nolan's house, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I met his father, and in 8th grade, that's when Nolan and I got really close. It was COVID year, and we were in class all year long together, me and a couple of my buddies, and Nolan and I just got super tight because we'd get a Waffle House once a week together, eat, and we were just...
I can't take it no more, fam. I just can't take it no more. Listen, I have never had a best friend whose parents' house I hadn't visited, let alone a guy that I grew up with from elementary. We're friends from elementary. We're friends in middle school, high school, and even college. And I've never been to his parents' house. Somebody lied. And if somebody can lie about that, they can lie about facts.
Close, but his dad would swing by Waffle House, and hang out around us, but never, I was never around Nolan's parents a lot, but that didn't change our relationship any. Nolan and I were still just as close, and he was just as close with my friends as, anyone else, so.
And walk me through the day of 4th of July where you guys were all going out.
Right.
This seems like something that I would assume that may have occurred more than just this year.
Yeah, of course.
Was it something that you guys did more than just this year? It's a two-part question. I want to know, is it something that you guys typically did together? Did you hang out often in this fashion? And then I want you to then walk me through 4th of July this year when the incident happened.
Okay. Being from the Gulf Coast, there's a boating and fishing is very, very popular. The 4th of July, every year, my friends and I, or my family and I, are out on the water. That's the one day is guaranteed everybody's going out. And that's a known thing. Everybody's trying to get a ride out to Horn Island, or people go to Ship Island, but most of everybody from Ocean Springs and the Gulf Coast go to Horn Island. And we went last year. Nolan was on the boat with me last year, and he was this was a common thing. My friends go on the boat when we're home Very, very common. That's what we like to do. My friends like to fish also, and like to go on the boat. Not just fishing, but like to go on the boat, like to go on sunset cruises, like to do it all, on the water, And I mean, Nolan loved to do that too. I mean, he was not like he was just like everyone else in our friend group. He loved to go on the water and, have a good time with the guys. And that's what we did a lot. But 4th of July, everybody was out there. Like I said, like Nolan was always trying to go on the boat, trying to go out there with us. And he was always welcome to come. Nolan was always out there with us. And, but started 4th of July, my buddies and I had talked about this week's upcoming, everybody's very, very excited for the 4th of July from down here. Like it's a big thing.
It's a big deal.
Very, very big deal. And, I mean, I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me, and I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went, and with my buddy, and we went, topped the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from Fort Bayou Boat Launch to my buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day. And
you say we all, who you talking about? You, Nolan, and how many people are going to meet you guys there?
We had roughly 20 to 30 people coming on 3 separate boats with us. And so we were all following each other out there as one big group. It wasn't just me and Nolan and a couple other of my buddies. There was 20 or 30 people spread out where we all met at the dock before, and then we departed to go to Horn Island. It wasn't just a couple of us. I mean, there were so many people, we had to split up between 3 boats, and we all left and all got there at the same time.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's clear, because the statements that are out there made it appear that it was just you, Nolan, and probably 2 or 3 other guys, and y'all are the only ones that went out to this island.
And that's completely incorrect. I mean, Horn Island on the 4th of July is the most popular day to be on the water on, throughout the entire Gulf Coast. I mean, everybody and their mom is on the water on 4th of July, There's no telling. I mean, roughly probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4,000 people out there. There were boats lined up off the island. I mean, there was 3 rows of boats all the way until my vision ended, until I could see of people there was 1 row of boats, and then there was another row of boats, and then there was a 3rd row of boats.
Yeah.
I mean, there was people lined up all up and down the island to where, I mean, who knows? I mean, and that wasn't just, we were parked on the north side, on the west tip. It wasn't just there. I mean, there's tons of people packed out on the south side and on the east end and in the middle of the island. But just where we were, I mean, there was easily 1,000 people. It wasn't just us.
Let's go back a little bit. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to you guys at the dock, getting on the boat. You're saying there's multiple people, probably 20 or 30 people getting on 3 boats.
Right.
What boat were you on, and what boat was Nolan on?
Nolan was on Wyatt's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart, because we had a lot of friends from college coming down, and I called Bart that morning. I was like, hey man, can you take your boat out? And he was like, yeah, well, my dad's decided not to go, and I'll take the boat, and I'll take you and your friends. Of course, I mean, he's a buddy of mine. And so Bart pulled up at the dock, and I mean, I rode out there with Bart and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I, and Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line, which is 24 tide line.
And so you guys get on, and I know a little bit more than the audience do, because we went out there a little earlier, because I wanted to see exactly what what the drive was like, what the dock was like, how far it is out there.
Of course.
But I want you to tell, the audience, like, what was this trip like? How was the waters? Did you guys do anything in between the time you rode and the time you get to the island? Was there music? Is it like a big party? Like, what is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously music's blasting. It's 4th of July, man. I mean, everybody's really excited. And I mean, we had a lot of people loaded down. So obviously our biggest, we're just trying to make sure everybody, gets out there safe. And so, I mean, on the way out there, it was pretty calm. I think it was blowing like 3 or 4 knots. I mean, the waters were clear. It was a great day to be on the water. Sunshine, not cloudy at all. And I mean, it was a great day to be out there on 4th of July. And so, I mean, we followed each other out, and I mean, it was calm. It was calm. On the way back, it was a little more rough, but it was not anything all my buddies' boats couldn't handle, or like it wasn't like we were getting really beat up or anything. I mean, it was pretty calm.
And so you guys get out there. I'm assuming that you line the boats up, because I'm envisioning the picture of getting out there and there's hundreds of boats. Mm-hmm. There's thousands of people. Yeah. So it wasn't just you guys on a deserted island with
course not.
A few people. This is thousands of people out there.
Right.
And there's a lot of people doing what? What does it look like when you first pull up?
I pull up, and we pulled up at 10:30. I mean, it wasn't, early afternoon. I mean.
Okay, family, I'm going to spare you the rest of this one-part interview, because according to Officer Tatum, they got another part of it. Because that's a second part to this interview. So let me spare you, fam, of some of the details, because he's not going to go into details. Okay, this is what this guy did, fam. Let me explain to you what he did. Warren extensively detailed the party atmosphere, the drinking, the tight-knit culture of the friend group. But he conveniently left out, how in the hell did your best friend get separated from the group? That's what we want to know. He completely avoided it. How do you not talk about that in the first segment of the interview? That's one of the first questions. The first question is, did you do it? Did you have anything to do with his death? That's what I'm asking. Get it out the way. That's the elephant in the room. 2, how did Warren get separated? I mean, how did Nolan get separated? Now, some people might say, well, that's a little too fast. You're going a little too fast, a little too strong to start off by asking, did you do it? So you save it later. Save it for somewhere in the middle or later, but you got to ask the question, which, to Officer Tatum's credit, he did ask the question. But, you got to ask that question, and you got to ask, how did Nolan get separated from the group? That's what I want to know. How did he get separated? This is why a lot of people are suspicious of this interview. Totally suspicious. He said that Nolan was completely fine and that nothing seemed out of the ordinary. See, this heavily clashes with suspicions raised by Nolan's mother and his attorney and everybody else with a set of eyes and ears, right? The independent autopsy indicated that Nolan suffered some type of trauma to the back of his head. There was some injury to the back of his head. So you got that. You got the contradicting voluntary separation, right? Well, at first, he went with a girl. Then, he jumped on a boat. We left. And here's a question I haven't heard anybody ask yet. Why'd they leave so soon? He just said it's the 4th of July. Everybody's out there. Everybody's partying. Horn Island is the destination. Who leaves the destination? This is the place where everybody want to be. Leaving the island to go somewhere else is not an option. All of the action is on the island. It's teenagers who don't want to be on the island. What are y'all leaving for? They left around 4:20, 4:30. Why? That question has not been asked. Why did they leave? I got my suspicions. Yeah, I got my suspicions. It is highly unbelievable. They said when he left, and he left his phone on the boat. So he went and got on another boat. Come on, fam. He went and got on another boat. So his phone wasn't good enough to get on the boat that he was getting on, but it was good enough to be left on the boat that he was not going to be on. So he left it because he wanted to make sure it didn't get water damage. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Born in the morning, but not this morning. It is absolutely unbelievable to me that a teenager would willingly maroon himself on a remote barrier island with no cell phone coverage and friends boating away. That don't make sense to me. Woo, I couldn't be the investigator because I'm gonna crack the case. I'm gonna crack the case. Hey man, I'm gonna put the pressure on them boys. They ain't that tough. They're being protected by their parents. And hey, that's what parents do, right? So yeah, can't too much fault the parents, but you can't fault the parents for raising little uncivilized mud racists. We know that at least one of them killed Nolan Wells. And we know that for all of them to lawyer up like that, they lawyered up. They didn't go searching for Nolan. They didn't go to the family to comfort the family. They didn't hop on social media to offer their condolences after the body was discovered. They went dark. They scrubbed their social medias. Then they deleted their social media accounts, talking about they fearing for their lives. Okay, if that's true, name the last time the suspect said he feared for his life and the suspects ended up harmed. Those are defense mechanisms that they use to throw off the scent, try to gain sympathy. Yeah, man, I know him. I studied him, man. I studied him. Woo, I know him. Woo, kind of like that wrestling. Woo, I know him, boy. I'm telling you, man. Might be able to fool some of these people, but you ain't gonna get me with that, man. You're not gonna get me with that. These dudes went for immediate legal protection. Immediate. All four of them. Okay, I can see one saying, mom saying, hey, baby, don't talk, don't say nothing, you want to implement yourself, you don't know what happened, But all four of them, somebody got in all four of their ears. Somebody called around and said, don't say nothing, everybody be quiet. Now, I suspect that the judge, Warren Hudson's stepmother, made the phone calls. I suspect she called all of the other parents and said, I advise you to tell such and such, don't say nothing, especially Jax. Don't say nothing, Jax. Don't say nothing. Don't talk to nobody. Get off of social media. Shut it down. Go dark. And here's another one, fam. Despite Warren calling Nolan his best friend, Warren admitted he wasn't focused on anyone solely. And he only spoke to Nolan a couple of times throughout the day. I find it very suspicious that a tight-knit group of friends could lose track of a member so completely without noticing an emergency. I find it completely hard to believe. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that Nolan Wells was murdered and that his friends know exactly what happened, and that at least one of his friends are responsible for his death, and at least multiple friends are responsible for the cover-up. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.
Willie D live.